All right, what's up? We're back with another rematch video, and I know it's been a while, but I've been working on a different video that should be out soon enough. So before that comes out, I just wanted to do this video really quickly because I think this will help out a lot of players. And, you know, I realized there's a lot of things that help me out, or a lot of mechanics that help me out as I reached elite. So as you can see, my rank is finally elite. And, you know, I've been grinding the past few days after I came back from my trip. So I'm going to be teaching you the mechanics that you need to know in this game, or you know, it will help you go to the next level, go to the next rank. So if you're hard stuck masters, it'll help you reach elite. If you're hard stuck silver, it'll most probably help you reach diamond, because these mechanics, if you use them correctly, they can be game changing. All right, but before I get into the video, you know, this is a quick advertisement. If you want to skip it, you can. I'll leave the timestamp up in front of the screen right now, where the video actually starts. So I've gotten my first affiliation with Games Planet, so you can use my code RematchSlime on gamesplanet.com to get a discount on Rematch. And I'll also be doing a giveaway for 2 elite keys soon, soon. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. I did announce this in my previous video, but I didn't end up doing it because, you know, I had some stuff to deal with. But like I said, go to the link below in the description on Games Planet and use code RematchSlime to get a discount on Rematch if you're planning on buying it. And if you can't buy it, that's fine. I'll be doing a giveaway, like I said. So, you know, anyways, that's all. Would appreciate any sort of support. Anyways, let's get back to the video. All right, so I'm going to be talking about 5 things today. The first 2 are going to be pretty easy, you know, on the down low. You don't need to really know them to change the game much, but it will help you out a lot. And it'll help you, you know, adapt to the game a little better. The last 3 are going to be absolutely game changing. They're like, every single pro uses these mechanics, and you need to know them if you want to go to the next level in this game. All right, so let's get straight into it. All right, so the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the dolphin dive. So if you don't know what the dolphin dive is, basically when you press Q on your keyboard or Y/triangle on your controller as you're running. So this is known as the dolphin. It could be called different things, but I call it the dolphin. All right, there's 2 sorts of dolphin dives, or 2 sorts of dolphins if you want to call it, right? There is this dive, so this is the basic dolphin, and then this is the normal one. So this is like the defensive stance one. So you want to try to use this when there's a shot that you're not close enough to get with a header, and you know it's gonna come to you, or it's gonna go above you. So again, I kind of avoid using this one as well, because usually people don't go above your head when you're taking a shot. When you're defending the box, people won't go above your head and try to shoot it over you. So this is one thing you want to be able to master as much as possible, or try to use as much as possible, even though it's probably not the best way to learn how to defend. Once you get the basics of defending down, you should be using this to block shots, to, you know, intercept as much as you can, and it'll definitely help you out as you're as you're trying to defend. So the best way to use this dolphin is to use it in tight corners. So let's say, you know, there's a ball stuck somewhere and you can't exactly reach it with just a normal tackle or a normal slide. So first things first, before I get into any of this, never slide. Never use slide unless it's really, really needed. Like, try to avoid it as much as you can. Slide is the worst mechanic in this game because it makes you slower as you get up. The hitbox is horrid, and it doesn't even, like, you know, it doesn't even go that far, so your teammates can't get it most of the time. The other person just ends up getting it most of the time anyways. So try to avoid slide as much as you can, and also try to avoid using dolphin to travel, because a while ago, before the patch released, you could use dolphin like this to travel around a little bit, but this is now inefficient, and just running normally is way faster. So don't do that, because I did do that in one of my old videos because it was in the meta before, but not anymore. So don't do that. But you can use dolphin with extra effort to just cover a little bit of space that a normal slide or a normal tackle won't cover. So I'll put up some clips on the screen right now, but you should be trying to use dolphin as much as you can to block shots primarily. So stuff like blade shots, stuff like, you know, volleys in the air that you can't usually reach with your normal defending header, right? So you want to try to use that to block shots and help your goalkeeper out as much as you can. If I have clips, I will place them up on screen, and I know I do. So the clips I'm going to be showing on screen are going to be a good reference for you if you're learning how to use the dolphin. And again, like I said, this is just a very minor mechanic that you should be familiar with. Don't try to force it too much. All right, the next mechanic before we get into big game changers is the ground shot pass. So what I mean by the ground shot pass, there might be a different technique, or there might be a different name for this, but you know, I just call it this because it's the easiest one. So usually when you ground pass, you use your right click on your keyboard and your X/square on your controller, right? So this is your normal ground pass, and then you can also do a light pass by pressing A and X at the same time. I'm not too sure what it is on keyboard. So like that. But the one thing people don't know is that ground passes should be utilized even outside of just 1-2s or basic passing back. You can use your shot mechanics, so left click on keyboard and your right trigger on Xbox. I don't know the other thing, but you know what I mean, right? So you can use the shot mechanic as a ground pass mechanic too. So if I apply topspin to it, you see how it kind of bounces around and it's kind of like a medium paced pass, right? But then if I apply backspin to it, it goes really, really fast. And you can see it's a really good way to cover distance without having to risk the interception mid-air. So you want to try to give this pass to your strikers if they're free, or just generally trying to cover space, because receiving a ball in the air is way harder than receiving the ball on the ground, at least accurately, if there's pressure on you. So when you receive it in the air, you have to take a good touch, and then you have to control it. But when it's on the ground, you can just take one touch and extra effort and run. You can create space simply, very easily. So try to use ground shot passes like this as much as you can. And obviously, it doesn't have to be straight on the ground all the time. But using these sort of passes can really help you open up some lanes. So you can do through passes like this. And you know those passes would usually get intercepted by defenders who know what they're doing by just holding the shot button. So if I were to do this, it would usually get intercepted. But if you want to give a nice through ball to your striker who's taking a run, you can always do that. So again, it really depends on how you utilize it, but it's always a good mechanic to know. All right, we're getting into the actual juicy stuff now. All right, so this is the top 3 mechanics that you need to know in this game. So I'm going to be ranking these based on, how useful they are. So number 1 is going to be the most useful, number 2 is going to be after, and so on and so forth, right? Number 3 is the lob defense. So again, like I said, there might be different names for different regions or different players that, might use this, but there's a mechanic called the lob defense. So you know how you can lob the ball, obviously. So I'm pretty sure the button's F on your keyboard, and it's RB plus X on controller. So again, I don't know the PS4 controls, I'm sorry, but I'll put them up on screen right now if I can find them. So yeah, so this lob can be used for passing. Obviously, that's the main intention behind it. But the one thing people don't know is that you can use this to intercept. So there's a thing called priority in this game. Now, a lot of players don't know the priority order, okay? And, those players include me. The only thing I know is that the lob has top priority. That's why you see defenders clearing it like this, instead of clearing with the normal pass like this, because the lob pass has a higher priority, right? So when you use the lob pass as a defensive mechanic, you can, when people try to do a blade shot or they try to push the ball, so when they're dribbling, when you push the ball like this, you see how you have a slight split second where you don't have possession of the ball and you can't move around with it. So that lock on you see, you can use that slight second to intercept them with a lob pass. So if you were to just hold down your right button, on your controller, your right button, if you're playing on controller, if you just hold that down and wait for them to push the ball and then press X, you will automatically intercept them and you will automatically just clear. If you're going against someone who's pushing the ball a lot and someone who's very good with blade shots, then this is a really good way to counter. So you stay in front of them and just spam the fuck out the lob button, because it'll auto clear it, and they can't even get it because it's so far away. So if I have clips, I'll show them on my screen right now. But the only downside with this mechanic is that you cannot use your defensive stance. So if they were to take a normal shot, you cannot block the shot, and you can't tackle like this. I mean, you can't do the shifts, you can't do the strafes here, and neither can you do this one. So I mean, you can, but it's kind of iffy because you go a little too far, and the camera, I just find it more comfortable to do in defensive stance. But if you're comfortable with it, that's even better. But like I said, you can't block shots. That's like the main thing with it. But when you're running to someone who's dribbling, you don't really need to block the shot when they're just dribbling. If you know he's a ball hogger, then probably the best way to defend them is just to spam the lob. So let's move on. Now, moving on to number 2. All right, number 2 is the blade shot. Okay, now the blade shot, I made a whole different separate video about this about a month ago, and there's multiple ways to do it. I'm just going to do them really quickly. I'm not going to go in depth into it because, again, there's a whole different video. I'll put that up on screen and I'll link it down below if you want to learn how to do the blade shot. So there's 3 types of blade shots, and you should be using this as much as you can as a midfielder when you're playing outfield, right? So in the box, it doesn't really make much sense. But, when you're outside the box, you can create so much space with just one blade shot and apply so much pressure that it can be really, really crucial in a game. The best way to use the blade shot is when you don't have pressure on you. When you have that one moment to sprint or just have that little second to scan the area and there's no one pressuring you, you can utilize the blade shot and just hit a crazy strong shot. So the whole point of a blade shot is that extra effort increases your shot strength, and that allows you to take a really powerful shot that's really hard to intercept because it covers a lot of distance. So I'll just show you how it's done. You can see that. So You see how it's stronger, and you can also place it anywhere you want because it's so easy to aim. Obviously, it'll require practice, and eventually you will have to get it down to muscle memory. But what this shot has helped me score so many goals in the higher ranks in Masters while I was getting to Elite, even in Diamond. So there's, like I said, there's 3 variations of this shot. There's the one I just did. There's this one, which is most commonly used by everyone because it's the easiest to do, and you know, it's the most efficient one because people have it down to muscle memory. The other one is the rainbow variant. So the rainbow variant is this. That's the rainbow variant. And again, I don't really see the much of an advantage in using this over the normal one. It just kind of makes it you know, makes it a little more, it gives you a little more time to aim, but it also gives the other defenders a little more time to adapt to you. So one more thing you can do with the rainbow blade shot is a fake. So you can header the ball and receive it on your own, but you can do that with a normal blade shot too, like this. So you do this, and then you can either pass it off, chip it over, or just receive it. So you just receive it like that, and then take a shot. So a lot of keepers will pre-dive for that. But yeah, those are the 2 variations of the blade shot. And this shot, you genuinely do have to master it. Like I said, I won't yap about it too much because I already have a video on it. Having the shot in your, you know, in your back pocket will always help you score more goals, and will also help you create more opportunities. The more the enemy defenders have to think about, the better for you, right? So anyways, let's move on to number 1. All right, the number 1 thing is the Ippy slide. I'm sure a lot of people saw this coming because the Ippy slide is crazy, okay? Now, this mechanic, I learned this recently. By recently, I mean really recently, about, I think, less than 24 hours ago. And it's helped me go from Masters to Elite in less than a day. And that's also partly because I was grinding my balls off, but this dribble mechanic has helped me create so much space so easily that you just have to learn it. A lot of people think it's complicated, but it's really not. All right, so to do the Ippy slide, all you have to do is look in one direction, make sure you're not running, push the ball. All right, that's number 1. First step is push the ball, and the other step is look in the other direction and sprint. That's all you have to do. So there you go. Now, for the people that don't know what the Ippy slide is, like you just saw, it's just a really good body feint. So what you can do is you can fake out that you're pushing the ball there and then drag it back. So it's a really good drag back, and it exploits the body hitbox in this game, which I don't think it's gonna be fixed anytime soon or ever, because this is a mechanic in the game. So using this to fake out a defender when you have too much pressure on you can help you create so much space. So all you have to do is Ippy slide to one side and then extra effort and you're gone. So this is kind of like a watered down golden boost, but at the same time, just using it without even extra effort helps you create so much space even for a pass, because that split second that you have before the defender comes to you, you can make a pass. So honestly, using this to just create space is so good. It's so underrated, and I don't see enough low rank players using this. So I know a lot of people who are so focused on mechanics and text like blade shot, you know, using a topspin shot, whatnot, right? But this mechanic is one of the most underrated ones ever. And I'm sure a lot of pros that you might have watched use this like subconsciously. It's down to muscle memory, and even I'm trying to get it down to muscle memory. But using this in scrims, in high rank lobbies is so good. And if you exploit this in lower rank lobbies, you can basically dribble the entire team, because they wouldn't know what to do with it. There's no good defenders in low rank lobbies, and you can just take advantage of that really easily. That's why I placed the Ippy slide in number 1, because it's the simplest one. It's probably the easiest one to learn, and it's also the easiest one to implement while you're dribbling as a midfielder, as a forward, as a defender, as, you know, hell, even a GK if you really wanted to. But obviously I don't recommend it. But I'm saying this is the most versatile and one of the most, you know, broken fucking mechanics in the game, especially in low ranks. So if you don't have a good defender on you, it's free eats. It's actually just free eats. So again, I'm gonna repeat the tutorial or how to do it really quickly. All you do, push to one side, look the other side instantly. So if you're on controller, it's way easier as well, at least for me. You look to one side, as you push the ball, instantly move your joystick to the other side. So since there's a little bit of a delay before your character moves, it's just an automatic, you know, you don't even have to do anything about it. It's just so brain dead. So it doesn't have to be sideways only. It can also be forward and then back like this. So you can bait with that. You can bait out a slide, you can bait out a tackle. You can also do this, where you kind of go diagonally, pull back, and then pass it off to the right side. So you can do a lot of things with the Ippy slide. It's a foundation for many things. So what you can do is you can push it there, and then make a V shape like this, and just go past them instantly. So you don't even have to use your extra effort. It's the foundation, and it's one of the most basic things to, you know, learn in high-ranking lobbies or high-ranking games, you know, to help make space and create space. Anyways, enough yap about the Ippy slide. That's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. And if you have any questions, you can always ask me. I'm always free to, help you guys out. Anyways, like I said, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.